Tonight's officials, the referee is Dennis Morrell. The linesmen are Brian Murphy and Jay Scherz. The Old Spice starting goaltenders, 25-year-old netminder Guy Hebert from Troy, New York, and Hamilton College has played the last 3 games. A win in Boston, a tie in Montreal, a loss in Toronto on Monday. Kay Whitmore gets the start for the Whalers. He's 3-1 in his last 4. He had the 3-game winning streak ended at home against San Jose on Saturday. And he was in goal for the 4-3 Whaler triumph here at the arena, in which the Whalers scored all 4 goals in the first period. And Brett Hull had all 3 St. Louis goals, but sure Kay feels like he might have hit the lottery here. He's playing the Blues and no Brett Hull.
I tell you, it makes a goaltender feel good. You're not kidding about that when the big gun is not in the lineup. Especially the big gun who got 3 here last time.
Paul Gillis shoots the puck in. Joe Day with a big hit on Dave Christian, and Day ties up behind the net. Puck squirts free to Lee Norwood, who of course played a few games for the Whalers early in the season, was traded to St. Louis in mid-November. Puck is backhanded in by Paul Cavallini, cutting in. Christian with a backhander. Whitmore with the save, and it's poked out to center by Gillis. Day hustles after it. Paul Cavallini ahead for Christian. Both teams trying to make line changes here in the first 45 seconds. Zarley Zanapski, who had a goal and an assist the other night at the Cap Center, ahead to Brad Shaw. Shaw backhands it in. Stefan Quintal, the ex-Bruin first-round pick, backhands it out. It's sent in by Huda. The Whalers are offside.
Ryan Sutter, the intense coach of the St. Louis Blues. It's Wayne Thomas with the headgear on there, the headset. You ever shaken hands with Sutter?
Yes, I have.
Right to your knees. Right to your knees begging for mercy. Jimmy Roberts was very happy with the performance of his team, not only the other night, certainly happy with their performance in Washington, but this team has got it together pretty good. They seem to be happy. They seem to have a good feeling heading down the stretch.
A couple of former favorite Blue players behind the benches. Jimmy Roberts, of course, playing under Scotty Bowman here in the initial years of the Blues franchise, and Brian Sutter with 11 great seasons here in St. Louis. Pat Verbeek spills Dave Lowry. It's lifted out by Huda, and Jeff Brown will track it down for the icing call. We look at Pat Verbeek, who now is talking with Lowry, and they're having a bit of a disagreement. And the linesmen Murphy and Scherz try to settle everyone down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Hartford Whalers and the National Hockey League, and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Hartford Whalers, the NHL, and Sports Channel is prohibited. Announcers on this broadcast are selected by Sports Channel and approved by the Hartford Whalers.
Dave Lowry's a little upset as he was taken out by Pat Verbeek going into the corner to the right of the Whalers net, and they just kept jawing all the way through the icing and after the icing, and Jim Roberts finally made a change, getting that line off the ice.
Jimmy has reinserted Jeff Sanderson into the lineup tonight, and he has been reunited with Bobby Holik and Mikhail Anderson. Kurt Giles, signed as a free agent, has the puck, and we get a whistle. Kelly Chase interfered with Mikhail Anderson, allowing Chase, or pardon me, Giles, to handle that puck, and we're going to get a holding call here to Chase.
One of the reasons Giles got the shot away is because of what Chase did, is he took Mikhail Anderson to the ice. Not very happy man. See right at the top of your screen, you'd have to think that Anderson has the quickness to get out to Giles. What a story Kurt Giles is. Without a job, went to the Canadian Olympic team. Played very good for them from what I saw. And evidently we had a few offers when he after the Olympics, and chose this one because I think there's some length to the offer.
Yeah, and plenty of cash.
No, that's part of it.
And he was signed at the end of February. And he is back in the NHL. Played 11 seasons with the North Stars, a year with the Rangers. And the Whalers on the power play. They certainly excelled in these situations Tuesday, going 3 of 4 against the Capitals. Ron Wilson disrupts things as the Whalers attempt to get set up in the St. Louis zone. Now Lowry on a steal. Wrists it off the glass and down the ice.
I think I've mentioned this in every telecast. I like Dave Lowry as a player. I mean, he's not a great goal scorer. He's got about 7 this year, but I'll tell you what, I'm sure he's a plus.
Yeah, he's a good checker, and he's got some size too, so he can play that physical game. Here's Zalapsky shooting, and it's deflected wide by Paul Cavallini. Over Ford, it's Ron Sutter, gets it to his twin brother Rich, and he'll flip it out to center. The Whalers in the meantime get Cullen and Cunnyworth on. Verbeek comes on now for Bobby Holik. However, Cavallini sends the Whalers all the way back with a minute to go, and a holding call to Chase. No score. We've played 2:40. Cunnyworth slowed up by Lowry. Jeff Brown backhands the puck over the glass next to the penalty boxes.
Did you ever notice how tough it is to get organized in your first power play? I mean, it's just chaos out there. And right now there's not much intensity from the Whalers standpoint, but that's probably just a carryover from the effort in Washington, which was so successful. Just look at offensive-minded Jeff Brown, who I think has really come into his own here in St. Louis as a good all-around defenseman. I don't think you ever have to worry about his offense, but he's turned into a solid defenseman. This defense corps, when healthy, are very underestimated. They're a pretty good group.
As Jerry mentioned, Zombo and Butcher are out with broken bones in their feet. And Butcher apparently is not due back until the start of the playoffs. Zombo, they're trying to fit with a new skate boot to allow him to play sooner.
Their road to the Stanley Cup is not an easy one. Chicago, the first round. It's not like the NCAA's where you can play Campbell or someone.
I don't think they have a hockey program. Here's Cunnyworth looking for Verbeek. The pass was tipped by Quintal. Brad Shaw has it. Fired it into the skates of Wilson. Gets it back. 30 seconds to go on the Blues penalty. Conroy, good pass. Cullen shoots. Saved by Hebert. And it's played away by Jeff Brown. The Whalers get it back. Shaw looks. Feeds Cullen. Cunnyworth has room to find Conroy, but reaching out was Lowry. And the Whalers are forced back to center. Shaw has to hurry. The veteran Wilson brings it in offside, but he doesn't mind. 8 seconds to go on the penalty, and he's moved the play down the ice.
It's not a bad play, especially when you're a man short, to take the offside. I don't think it's not called very much as for being intentional. John Cullen really should have more faith in his shot. I feel John Cullen shoots the puck pretty darn good. Plenty of time here, though. And Hebert with the first save of the game. Of course, I think in this game today, when you have enough time, anyone's got a pretty good shot.
John trying to end a streak of 11 games without a goal. He and Murray Craven lead the club with 24 apiece. Craven, of course, has been red hot with 6 in his last 4 games. Mark Bergevin shoots the puck in as Chase returns. The Blues keep it scoreless. Ivan Corriveau couldn't get to it. Kurt Giles does. Ahead for Nelson Emerson, a rookie out of Bowling Green, who's been one of the top rookies in the NHL this season. Giles in a race for the puck, gets there ahead of Craven. We got an icing call. We've played nearly 4 minutes of scoreless hockey here in the first.
But we got to clear something up right away. In the last shift, Murray Craven very hot, 6 goals in 4 games, on fire. I talked to him after on that penalty shot the other night, and he is an honest man, and I think he was kidding me here, but he said he was going for the 5-hole at all times. So hats off to Murray Craven on a well-executed penalty shot.
Giles trying to work over Craven at this point. Brett Hedigan, the 21-year-old defenseman off the U.S. Olympic team, is Giles' partner. That puck is cleared out of play. Well, I'm glad you finally admit it, Jerry.
Hold on, I didn't admit it. I just said, telling you what he told me. I still think he was going upstairs.
Wow.
Now,
I tell you.
I'm going to have to sit down when we have more time to talk to Murray. The way he propelled himself into that shot, it was just the way a guy would going upstairs, going up top. But he said he actually went when Beaupre quickly moved in, right? When a goaltender moves in a penalty shot, you want to put it up. It gives you a lot more room. But he hesitated to move in, stayed out a little bit, and he was forced to go between his legs. A lot of times what you do is dictated by what the goaltender does. So he said he was going for the 5-hole, and I respect his word. He's an honest man.
All I can say is, Jerry, it's a good thing you weren't the goaltender facing that shot. You're so fooled on it here 3 days later. I would hate to see what would have happened.
I would have said I was screened probably.
Zalapski gives the puck to Bobby Holik. Overleads Anderson. It's icing as Cavallini gets there. 15:24 to go in the first.
Shot of the crowd here. Good crowd here tonight. It seems to be sold out, as a matter of fact, and that's testimony to what a great job they've done here. This has been well done by this organization.
They've averaged around 17,600, I believe, per game this season. Here's Craig Janney cutting in with Christian, who shoots. Glove save by Kay Whitmore, and he'll close the door on the Blues this time.
That was the first dangerous opportunity by the Blues. As the Whalers know by now, Christian with a pretty good release and a good wrist shot. It's tough to see if that shot was labeled, but nevertheless, Whitmore in good position. They did a great job in this city, community-wise. You know, Mike Shanahan, the chairman of the board of this group that owns the Blues, most of the board, everyone's really involved. This has become a true city team for the St. Louis people. It's an excellent franchise. Of course, it always has been, or mostly has been since day one.
Great sports fans here.
Yep.
They're ready to support Cardinals baseball too this summer. And win, lose, or draw, they turn out by the tens of thousands for the Cards. Rich Sutter had it played away smartly by Steve Conroy. Bob Basson had it poked free, and it is not kept in. Whitmore keeps it moving on the delayed offside signal. Cunneyworth brings it out. Lobs it rink wide. Jeff Brown, the former Quebec Nordique, is after it. He'll bring it out. From the red line, sails one high off the glass. Cullen locks up with Basson. Conroy over there with the emphatic hit on Basson, and Cullen is decked by Lowry. That gets a rise out of the crowd. Gintal risks one over Whitmore's head. Rich Sutter collides with Mark Bergevin. Mark will be our first intermission guest tonight. We spoke with Mark and also Brendan Shanahan before the game. We'll present the conversation with Shanahan between the second and thirds this evening. Here's Cullen. He's got Cunneyworth in front, goes to Verbeek shooting, and he cranks it over the net. As an opportunity all of a sudden presented itself for the Whalers. Philippe Bozon, the French-born forward for the Blues, lost the puck. The Whalers are whistled for a two-line pass.
There's no doubt about it. This St. Louis team is going to play Chicago in the first round of the playoffs, right? And if they don't catch Chicago, the first game will be in Chicago Stadium. And it's just in the last shift, there's some heavy hits. You know Chicago's going to get. How long do you think it will take to play the first period in that series? Here's a hit by Lowry right here. I would think that might be a National Hockey League record for length, the first period in the St. Louis-Chicago series.
That's going to be a challenge for the Blues. They've done most of their damage at home this year. They're one game over 500, and they've won 22 at home, have won just 11 on the road. So I think that home ice advantage would mean something to them. However, they have little time with which to try to gain it. They play the Blackhawks next weekend here at the arena.
Maybe.
Yes. Yep. That's assuming there is no strike. Here's Joe Day stepping in, dropping it. Randy Ladouceur couldn't get the shot underway. Day is clobbered by Giles. And they continue to tussle as Hedican headmans to Wilson. We've got a delayed penalty upcoming to Hartford. And Whitmore controls the puck. Let's pause for a regional break.
Joe Day gets 2 minutes for roughing. They always trying Joe Day. You know, it's funny what you find out about players, right? His first tying up in the situation, went back down to Springfield, comes up again. I know he told himself, I'm sure he told himself, that what do I have to do to stay here? I have to become more physical, and he's certainly been more physical in his second stint with the Whalers than he was with the Fur. He's involved in every play physically.
And he's been very consistent in that regard, I think, since he was brought up on March the 8th. The Whalers on their Western road trip. From what we understand, he played pretty well in that trip, and we've seen the Whalers every game since And he certainly showed us that. But he's in the box for roughing here. The Whalers have done well killing the penalties lately, as they have killed 12 of the last 13 power plays against them, and against some pretty good competition, the Penguins and the Capitals, two of the better power play units in the NHL. Emerson at the blue line, feeds it to Janney. Got Shanahan behind the net. Christian in the circle. Goes back to Emerson. Around the one-timer by Brown. He misfires. Shanahan with his strength trying to get to it. And Huda tied him up effectively, and it's cleared by Zalapski. And now we get Huda dumped. And Shanahan pleads his case. A tripping call is indicated by Morrell, and that will even out the manpower situation. Shanahan enters the penalty box. We have 1:13 left to go with a call against Day.
This is not a wise penalty by Brendan Shanahan, as he and Dougie Huda get tied up right from the get-go on this power play. I mean, penalties like this, really. Now watch this. I mean, penalties like this should be fine. You should have to, you know, there should be a standard rule. Penalties. I mean, what did that accomplish? That penalty. Boy, when you coach, and I had I was going to say the opportunity, but it could have been misfortune a lot of the time. To coach for close to 5 years, and those things, this guy, if that happens up, he'll be gray next year. A little shortage of hair. That's how you get that way.
Well, certainly this is a lunch pail lineup the Blues have suited up tonight without Brett Hall, and the fact that they have been struggling, to their credit, though, a lot of those games have been on the road, but he wants to get things going in the right direction. You can tell he's emphasized the physical aspect of things going into tonight's game. Hebert hangs on to it, and we get a whistle with each team down a man.
This is a real challenge to Sutter, to Brian Sutter, but that's the way he played the game his whole life. Every shift was a challenge to him. He wanted to be the best in every shift. He's a great leader. He's done very well coaching. A lot of times guys that played with the intensity he played with have a tough time adjusting to coaching. There has to be some levelness in your coaching philosophy, but he's done a great job here. And they surrounded him with good guys, and Barry and Thomas and veteran guys, and he's done the job.
Out comes Craig Janney. He's paired with Emerson up front. Cavallini and Norwood defensively, and Emerson shoots a stick save by Whitmore. Nice move by little Emerson, who goes to 5'11", 180. Now we get a penalty here against Cavallini for pulling down Corriveau, and Cavallini can't believe it. We've played 8 minutes, no score. The Marc Bergevin interview, the Whalers 5-4 in their last 9 away from the Civic Center.
Now, if the Whalers want to keep going in the Stanley Cup playoffs, they have to be more than 500 on the road.
And what is also encouraging is while they've had a couple of games where they have scored 1 goal or were shut out like they were in Quebec, they've also produced a couple of 8-goal nights against the Penguins at the start of that stretch. And of course, Tuesday night of the most recent game in that stretch as James Black just missed the net with a shot. Murray Craven has the puck. Craig Janney comes up with it. He steps out with Christian and Shanahan on the wings, and the play's whistled down by Jay Scherz, offside. There is the veteran Dave Christian, 32 years old.
He's looking for his 20th tonight, an off season for Christian. Come over as a free agent from the Bruins without comp. You know, the Whalers, when Christian, Shanahan, and Janney are on the ice, that's got to become a 100% defensive shift, because this is the line that's going to beat you tonight. I don't believe the other lines will beat you. So if you can make sure that they don't score, the heck, worst it can be is a tie.
Stefan Quintal shoots it in. Of course, he and Janney became Blues back on the 7th of February. Emerson loose in front, and he couldn't get it by Whitmore, who reached out to poke check him. Emerson's trying to walk in for another opportunity. I think Whitmore missed in the poke check, but his stick was still out there to stop the shot. Here's a steal by Sanderson, shooting, kicked out on the rebound. Anderson couldn't get it on goal. Halik backhands it. Hebert with another save. Halik maintains control, fires it through the goal mouth. Sanderson gets to it and wristed on the net. Anderson keeps it in deep to Halik. Centers for Sanderson, who just tipped it wide, though he was checked by Ron Sutter. Zalapsky dumped by Kelly Chase. They continue to rough it up. And now the linesman will step in between them. Morrell is pointing around. Let's see what all this pointing results in on his calls.
Probably coincidental. Dougie Huda jumping in there. He'd like to get a piece of Kelly Chase. Anyway, Guy Hebert has saved his best goaltending for this period. Here's a shot from a bad angle by Sanderson, but it's a rebound. Watch Hulik. He's the one who spots the puck first and jumps on it, but he just couldn't get it up and over Hebert. These should be coincidental calls.
2 each for Ruffick.
Kelly Chase, the leader in penalty minutes. That'll be his 242nd penalty minute. That's like spending 4 games in the box.
That's right.
Here's the start of it. You know, I got not that I want to apologize or anything. I still don't like with that Alan May for Washington the other night when he took his helmet off. I guess he has a visor, and he wants to take it off so it doesn't create a 2-minute penalty. I was a little hard on him for I thought it was somewhat of a hot dog play taking his helmet off, but he does have a visor on, and he's a fighter, and you know, when you start a fighter, get involved, you get an extra 2 minutes, so he's probably right in doing that.
Probably. I think he's also got a bad hand, Jerry, from hitting helmets. So I think he was trying to get Adam Burt to drop his helmet.
Yeah, but I don't believe that. So you can hurt your hand just as much on his head as the helmet. In fact, I'd rather hit a helmet than a head.
Some heads in this league.
That's right.
Verbeek trying to put it out in front, had it blocked. Basson checked by Randy Cunnyworth. And away comes Hedigan. Pass right on the stick of Rich Sutter. Tied up effectively by Conroy. Bergevin around for Randy Cunnyworth. Now to Cullen. Just by his stick. Cavallini plays it to Lowry. Just missed connecting with Rich Sutter. Bergevin.
I'm sorry, Rick. That last play by Bergevin around the boards is exactly a play that they're going to have to use an awful lot against the Montreal Canadiens. The defenseman is going to be back. You know the Canadiens and their speed will be in pursuit of the defense. As soon as you touch it, you've got to have a lot of faith that your wingers are going to go back to their prescribed position, which would be over the blue line on the boards, and you got to drill it around there. That's going to be your best way of coming out of your end.
So we look at the Whaler bench in the background. Darcy Regier and Jimmy Roberts with Claude LaRose upstairs. Early here in the second period, we're tied at 1 as we look at Paul Gillis back in action after missing 22 games with a broken bone in his foot. And he's added some life certainly to the Whaler lineup with his return.
He's a lively player. He plays all out all the time.
Bradshaw wrists it off the glass and out to center. Cavallini gets to it. Bassett hits Bozan with a pass. Play is offside. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel. Gillis and Day talk things over as Day is called in for this faceoff. As he goes against the grizzled veteran Ron Wilson. The Whalers control. Huda drives it in. And it's off the ledge of the boards and skips over the glass into the crowd over in the corner. There's Gillis and Wilson jaw a little bit. Boy, Wilson was just about out of playing hockey. He was a playing assistant coach in the American League a couple of years ago, and he was acquired from the Winnipeg organization. All of a sudden became a key cog in a team that went on to a 105-point season last year.
Yeah, he even saw a lot of power play time. You know, you think of Wilson as a defensive specialist. St. Louis Blues, you know, they always like to have that guy such as Wilson or Rick Mahar before him. A real classy, experienced guy.
Yeah, Mahar certainly has served this organization quite well. Now works in the front office and community relations. Brian Murphy goes down. The puck carries the link. Norwood back for it. We get another icing call. This one against the Hartford Whalers.
Good crowd here tonight. I don't know if they've given us the attention. I don't believe so, but this looks like a big house. They're still going at it, Gillis and Wilson.
I think they're going to get penalties, although no one's paying much attention to Denny Morrell. He has signaled that Gillis and Wilson will be issued penalties here at 3:19 of the second.
Denny Morrell, he reminds me of an offensive lineman tonight with the pointing. I got him. Hey, this is a fun rink. I would love to be here for a St. Louis Chicago, well, 6th game or 4th game or even any game. It's I'm sure it's a terrific rivalry.
That's just about all settled. The only thing left to determine is who's going to open the series at home.
I think for Chicago in that division, I think they're everyone's main rival, especially the way their style of play of late. You know, under Mike Keenan, they play so tough and so physical. It's easy to become a rival when it's that type of a team. They get a lot of.
Well, they had a tough one with Buffalo in Chicago on Sunday. The Hawks found themselves in the short end of many a penalty situation and ultimately lost 6-2.
It's a bad team to take penalties to, Buffalo.
And that's a pattern that the Hawks really hurt themselves with in the playoffs last year against the Minnesota North Stars. So it's a little late in the season to be pulling the same stunts, but they've got to look at trying to avoid that if they're going to have success in the playoffs this year. Janney controls the draw. Christian pulls the trigger. It's blocked. Fired from the circle, and Whitmore covers it on the try by Brendan Shanahan.
James Black is having a problem with Craig Janney on the draws. I've never thought of Craig Janney as an excellent face-off man. He's capable, certainly with great hands. Well, he really didn't cleanly win it, but he got the job done and got the puck to Christian. You got to really work in these areas. It's not so important in their end or at neutral ice, but right here it certainly is.
Those penalties matching minors to Gillis and Wilson for unsportsmanlike conduct. At 3:19, Whalers move it ahead. The pass tipped by Craven to James Black, leads it for Corriveau. He speeds ahead of Brown to get to it, trying to center it, hit the back of the goal. Jeff Brown, who has the St. Louis goal in this game, starts it out. Janney maneuvers ahead, leaves it for Brendan Shanahan. Play broken up at the back, checking Corriveau. 2-on-1 to Craven. It's off the blade of his stick. Quintal gets back to even things out for the Blues. And up ice, we've got Shanahan and Ladouceur going at it. And both trying to go with some right hands. And Ladouceur landing some big rights on Brendan Shanahan, who switches hands.
I think his right hand was getting tired or bruised, so he did switch to his left. And he got the upper hand on Shanahan.
They'll head off to the box, and we'll step out with a score tied at 1.
There'll be 5 minutes each for fighting to Shanahan and Ladouceur. Pretty good duker here. You notice lately in the fights that at least we saw that the uppercut's becoming popular.
Yeah.
Who was one we saw maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago was a Jim Dandy uppercut, you know, and he tried it 3 or 4 points. We'll think of it. We'll come up with it. But then then there's been more uppercuts since then.
It seems that fighters are less defensive than they used to be. You used to end up with a lot more wrestling matches where it was very difficult for anyone to get off a punch. It was just defense first and tie up the other guy.
There's better fighters nowadays. I see the guy for Chicago, Peluso, he's going to take boxing lessons this summer.
He's had a lot of practice this year. Rich Sutter comes back to steal a pass for the Blues. Gives it to Lowry. Cunninworth trying to slow him up. Lowry sheds the check. Encounters Conroy. Basson. Checked by Bergevin. Basson, who had 2 goals and an assist in the 5-2 win over the Whalers by the Blues in late February in Hartford. He was on a line with Janney and Brett Hull that night.
That'll do it.
Instant offense. Kurt Giles. Up the middle to Lowry, slowed up by Conroy. Bergevin comes over for it. Cullen lets the two-line pass go. Conroy met by Giles. Rich Sutter slips free. Ron Sutter comes off the bench to join his brother in the offensive zone. He'll challenge John Cullen for it. Nelson Emerson. Checked by Cunnyworth. Bergevin slides to Conroy. Ron Sutter with a big hit on Bergevin behind the net. Here's Cullen. From the red line, drives it in. It dribbled off the glove of Hebert. And the Blues move it out. That shot might have dipped on the young goaltender. Huda holds up the Blues. Holik gets it to Sanderson. Broken up by Paul Cavallini. Passes in. Emerson skates. Found by Chase. Emerson trying to backhand it toward the net. Blocked by Doug Huda. Ron Sutter shoots. Stick save by Whitmore. We've got a penalty upcoming here against the Hartford Whalers, and holding is the call against Zalapski. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel.
Holding the call to Zarley Zalapski. Sutter will make a cut to his forehand. Boy, oh boy, that's when you get tied up with the puck or not interested in playing the body, you get yourself into trouble. If you go to the man and look him right in the eye or in the logo, you really can't get in much trouble.
Zalapski in the box for the second time of the period. Whalers shorthanded for the third time this evening. St. Louis, a club that had been struggling with a man advantage with Brett Hull on the sidelines, has scored on one of two opportunities coming in. They had been 3 of 22 in the last 6 games, including the game in Detroit in which Hull was injured. Janney. Move it around to Norwood. To Christian. He lost track of it. It's played out by Conroy. Whalers with Black and Craven in front of Conroy and Shaw. Blues have Brown and Norwood working behind Philippe Bozan, Janney, and Christian. Brown slaps it in. Bozan in front, getting it to Christian, tipping it to Janney. Lee Norwood winds and fires. It's blunted by Black. Conroy looking for Black. Play compacted well by Norwood. Black stays with it though and plays it out to Craven. 2-on-1 with Conroy. Shorthanded. Brown back. Conroy winds, fires, hits the post, hits the goal post. Christian ahead for Janney. And we got the whistle. And the two-line pass will be brought back. Janney complains about the call. Steve Conroy nearly had one.
Well done. Well done by the Whalers. Good pass here by Murray Craven. No chance for the goaltender. And you're not kidding about hitting the goalpost. There it is from the Whalers end. That's about as dead on as you could get.
1:07 to go on the Zalapski penalty. Hebert with a couple of years under his belt in Peoria of the International Hockey League. Called into service this year with the ankle injury to Joseph. Of course, a trade early in the year of Vincent Riendo to the Detroit Red Wings. That brought up Pat Jablonski. Emerson cuts in. Cornered by Huda. Bergevin ties up with Janney. Janney digs it loose, trying to get it in front. Ron Sutter wrestled there by Bergevin. Emerson is loose. Out to Paul Cavallini, across to Brown. 40 seconds to go in the Blues power play chance. We're in a 1-1 tie. Cavallini across. And Janney leaves it for Brown. Blues kept on the perimeter here. Janney to Brown, the one-timer up the middle. Whitmore the stop on the rebound. Ron Sutter's looking for it. Whitmore has fallen back to cover it. Emerson and Huda get the sticks up with 23 seconds to go on the penalty to Zalapski.
A lot of bodies flying around in front of Kay Whitmore. Here's the one-timer by Jeff Brown. You got to let the goaltender take this. You got to make sure that a guy like Sutter here or Emerson doesn't get the rebound, so you just got to take bodies. No prisoners. Here it is from up above. You know, another thing you have to be as a defenseman in this case is once that shot's let go, you can't become a spectator. You can't be can't say nice save, Kay. You got to be active and going to the guy on the doorstep, clearing the way for Whitmore to see. You just can't become a spectator. It's the best way to put it.
Whitmore in this game has faced 13 shots, 9 in the first period. James Black set to face off against Ron Sutter. Blues control. Cavallini and Brown man the points. Brown the one-timer. Whitmore the stick save as he had a clear view of it. Craven works to come up with it. He'll send it off Brown's shoulder. Nice glove save by assistant coach Wayne Thomas, just like he used to do.
I got a kick out of reading the papers today. This weekend, the St. Louis Blues are going to celebrate their 25th year anniversary of being an NHL franchise, and they have a lot of things planned, and one of them is an old-timers game between their arch rivals, Chicago Blackhawks, and themselves. And they give the lineups today. Some names from the past in that one, certainly. Ernie Fedorko, I guess one of the most, no, Rick Mahar.
Yeah.
We can go down and Noel Picard, Bob Plager. Plager took a great step in conditioning with a light skate the other night.
13 seconds to go on the Blues power play. Wilson out there with Emerson and also Bozon. Emerson steps in against Bradshaw in front. Wilson shoots, he scores!
As we said earlier, Ron Wilson does get power play time in this outfit. He's in the second unit. I'll take a look at it. Right from the face-off, this should not have been a dangerous time for the Whalers, but here's Emerson. Well, you know, the Whalers, all they're doing here is reaching. They're not analyzing what's happening. Emerson, the nifty little first-year player, finds the veteran in the slot, and it's 2-1 Blues with their second power play goal.
They're 2 of 3 in the evening. Wilson is 11th. And the goal at 7:51, assisted by Emerson and Bozon. Emerson has assisted on both St. Louis power play goals. And for Bozon, that's his first point in the NHL in his 5th game. 2-1 St. Louis in front, their first lead. Out comes Cullen. Feeds it behind Verbeek. The play's offside.
The Whalers got to get back on track right now. They had a great game in Washington. Held well in the first period. Now they're getting caught behind somewhat. They can't take the attitude that the game in Washington was enough. The victory in Washington was enough. They got to go try and get this game right now. This is a hockey team they should beat. A lineup they should beat, I should say.
Well, Mark Bergevin told us before the game in the interview we presented at the first intermission that trying to get more consistent following a strong effort with a good effort as a follow-up is certainly a goal for this team, as we get a disagreement involving Bassett and Huda. We'll step out. 11:22 to go in the second period. St. Louis leads 2-1.
There's the pennant signifying the 75th anniversary of the National Hockey League. And you always think of St. Louis as an expansion team, but they've been in the league 1/3 of its.
That's right. First 50 years, and not too many franchises involved. We've got several disagreements going on here. Bassett and Cullen on the face-off, and on the perimeter, Cunneyworth and Rich Sutter. Trying to get settled down as we look at Cullen, who's scored 4 points in the previous 2 meetings between these clubs. The puck comes out to center, tracked down by Quintal. Brown sails it rink wide by Rich Sutter. Whitmore plays it, and the Blues give chase. This will be icing against Hartford. Quintal back, but away from the puck. Brown pulled down Verbeek, and it will be Jeff Brown sent to the penalty box. Brown complains loudly and long, but he will be issued the penalty here at 8:55.
This will be tripping. Jeff Brown doesn't like the call, obviously, but it was an icing, so the faceoff will have to be outside the Whalers zone. But sometimes you can't figure out these refs. I think that's the you know, it's a job that's, you know, thankless. What the heck? Who would ever want to be a referee? And you know, I think the tough part for the players is figuring out the ref. First of all, you shouldn't try to figure them out, but that's the problem of knowing the ref. Now, there's an interesting rule right here, Rick. They're arguing where the faceoff should be. I say it's outside, and the linesmen want to have it inside. It will be outside.
You got the word down there.
But anyway, I think the refs confuse the players. I don't think it's intentional at all, but they confuse the players as
well, it's so difficult in a game that's fast, and you could call penalties all night long if you want to. These are different human beings from night to night making the calls, and like you say, you got to know the ref and know the tendencies of one ref compared to another. And some nights, I think they're naturally going to either be on their game or be looking for more types of penalties, or a little closer than other nights. The human element of it. Whalers with their 6th power play chance, and Whaler fans hope they can get things cranked up here. They missed in their first 5, including missing on a 2-man advantage all in the first period. Jeff Sanderson feeds Bergevin at the point, winds and fires, doesn't make it through. It was blocked by Cavallini and cleared by Wilson. Blues came in killing 83% of the penalties against them. One of the better percentages in the league. Norwood plants Holik with a big hit in the corner. Down they go. Anderson feeds it back to the point. Bergevin has to come out to center for it. Whalers trying to get the Cullen line on. Bergevin chips it to the corner. Zalapski and Conroy now man the point. Holik stays on for the moment. Here's a steal. Cunningworth fakes. Norwood went down. Still, he was able to pry the puck away on the scramble. Conroy got it loose to John Cullen. Fires in front. It's off the stick of Hebert, and he manages to juggle it and hang on with 40 seconds to go on the penalty to Brown.
Whalers having a tough time getting organized on this power play, right? Let's go watch some of the action on this power play. Here's the hit by Lee Norwood, a guy that's really not known for hitting. In fact, he hardly ever hits. But it's a good play by Norwood. He's up and he's trying to get a whistle here desperately, and he just effort, that's all. Really, one of the reasons the Whalers are unorganized is the effort of the Blues. They're putting a lot of effort into their penalty killing this evening.
Zalapski with 36 seconds to go on the penalty, deals it to Cullen. In deep to Verbeek. Goalmouth try, smothered by Giles. Bassett works for it. Double team though, and Verbeek got it back out to Zalapski. Bassett keeps an eye on him. They've got Verbeek and Cunningworth in the slot. Cullen looks toward the net, goes to Zalapski, shooting. It's blunted by Bassett, cleared by Rich Sutter. 12 seconds on the penalty. Zalapski hurries ahead. Time winding down to this opportunity. Great move, and the shot is stopped by Hebert. Tremendous move by Zalapski, as that is a 2-line pass to Brown coming out of the box, so he'll let it go. Whitmore chips it around to Zalapski. And here's a 2-on-1. Cullen and Verbeek. Cullen looks. Cullen cuts in. Fires for Verbeek. He can't get to it. Randy Ladouceur does. Whalers trailing here in the second period, 2-1. 8:40 to go.
Take a man! Take a man!
Cullen checked by Brown. Verbeek comes by to control it. Fights among 3 Blues to get it to Shaw, and that pass was tipped out. Verbeek dumps it back in.
You hear the St. Louis Blues bench? Take a man, take a man. They only wanted 1 man chasing the puck.
Lowry managed to hang on to the blue line as it's wristed in by Kimball. Kept moving by Whitmore. Bows off the bench. Shoots, deflected. Pad save by Kay Whitmore as Joe Day got a piece of that shot. He tosses aside Ron Wilson. Steps away with a puck. Slowed up by Kimball. Day still able to get it in deep. Gillis pressures Bozon, who played for the French Olympic team. He played in the Blues organization in Peoria at the start of the year and came back to play in St. Louis. His first crack of the NHL this season. Day in front of McKenzie, shooting, blocked by Cavallini. McKenzie tripped up by Cavallini. Norwood steps in there to grab the puck, feeds it out on left wing to Bozal. Huda banks it off the boards. Norwood has it. He cuts into the Hartford zone, dropping it back for Kimball, looking for Bozal. Zalapski pressured by Darren Kimball. McKenzie strides ahead, trying to get it in deep to allow for a line change. Norwood over 2 lines to Kimball. He'll let it go. Doug Huda fires it by Corriveau's stick. This carries the length, but Black gets to it, so there's no icing. Brendan Shanahan, 29 goals, one away from his career high. Shanahan on the move. Met by 4 Whalers at the blue line. Whitmore slides it to the boards. Kelly Chase over for it. Shanahan is bumped by Conroy. Craven can't get it by a little Kurt Giles. And we got the stoppage in play. A hand pass is called. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel. Blues have overtaken the Whalers in this game. Whalers had a 1-0 lead on a goal by Craven. The Blues have answered with power play goals by Brown and Wilson to lead 2-1. Conroy around to Craven, broken up by Janney. He works the corner along with Christian. They look in front. The shot by Shanahan is played aside by Whitmore. Bergevin brings it out. We welcome the audience that has been watching the Devils and the Bruins on Sports Channel to the action here in St. Louis. Rick Peckham and Jerry Cheevers with you tonight. Our score is 2-1 St. Louis. Murray Craven in the first period, an even strength goal for the Whalers. Brown a power play goal for the Blues in the first, and here in the second, Wilson has scored on a man advantage situation for St. Louis, and the Blues are in front. Ivan Corriveau trying to tie it up, cuts in on Brown, shoots, he scores! What an effort by Corriveau as he got in behind the defense, and he has indeed tied it up.
Well, very similar to Craven's goal in this game. He just had a little burst of speed to go around the defense. And you hit it right on the nose, Rick. Good effort to be able to get to this position. Murray Craven with a fine pass to Corriveau. He has a step on Jeff Brown, and he gets position and just jams it up over the blocker as the young goaltender Hebert went down a little too early. Good pass here by Craven. Watch the goaltender. Watch him right now. He goes down way too early. You know, when you're being bothered a little bit by the defense, as Corriveau was, to me, a goaltender should just blitz the situation. You just got to come out at Corriveau.
Brad Shaw sent it in. Sanderson and Anderson got to come up with it. 2-2 were tied up. Well, Jerry made the point a few games ago how Corriveau had been setting up Craven on a lot of his recent goals. Shaw with a drive kicked away. And he returned the favor here. Emerson at a break for the Blues. The puck hopped over his stick. And the Whalers dodge a missile. And we got a penalty upcoming. 5 minutes to go here in the second period. The score is tied at 2.
As you said, Rick, the Whalers dodge a bullet. Here's the pass. Emerson remains on side. Right at the sweet time, it takes a little hop over his stick. The speedy Emerson getting a couple steps on Randy Ladouceur. After the play, Anderson got his stick up on Kelly Chase. No blood, 2 minutes, high sticking. 2 power play goals for the Blues. 2 power play goals. This will be the 4th attempt, so it's 2 for 3. The Whalers 0 for 6.
It's been a big night on special teams for St. Louis. For those just joining us in the last few moments, the Whalers had 5 power plays in the first period, including a 2-man advantage, and were unable to score. An excellent period penalty killing for St. Louis. Christian with a shot blocked by Zalapski. Shanahan out to the point to Nelson Emerson, who has assisted on both St. Louis goals and has 4 assists in the 3 games in the season series. Janney hands it to Brown. Joe Day out keeping an eye on him. Janney gets it back. Shanahan's involved in a battle with Zalapski. He just caught a glimpse of that as Emerson gives it to Brown. Emerson fires, blocked by Zalapski. The rebound is set toward the net by Janney, poked in front and picked up by Zarley Zalapski.
I think this might have been a tremendous save by Dougie Huda.
He saved the day in front of Whitmore at the last instant. 1:10 to go in the Anderson penalty. 4:10 to go in the second period. Hartford has knotted the score at 2. Janney pummeled along the boards by Bergevin. Gets the puck back again. Gives it to Christian. Back to Brown. Lets the shot go. Blocked it. Hit Shanahan. Janney's alone. Saved by Whitmore. And he hangs on to it. Freezing it on his blocker.
Wow, how did the puck end up? Off the blocker into his catching mitt. Craig Janney found himself about a foot outside the creased area all by himself as the Whalers defense was tied up. You see right here. Boy, this thing actually laid on the blocker. You see Conroy has Shanahan tied up. Christian has Bergevin tied up, and it leaves Janney all alone.
It's almost as if that puck had Velcro on. Stuck right to his glove.
Craig Janney with 18 goals and 65 assists.
He has,
for Craig Janney.
Yeah, he's had points in 18 of 21 games since joining St. Louis from the Bruins. Here's Brown winding, firing save, rebound. Janney stopped again by Whitmore. He came up with 2 big stops there. Black fires it to Craven. 44 seconds to go in the Anderson penalty as the Whalers clear. We welcome our Sports Channel viewers who've been watching the Sharks and the Islanders. To the action here in St. Louis. Murray Craven drops the puck for Steve Conroy. Centers, and it's deflected by James Black off the side of the goal. We're tied at 2. 3:20 to go in the second period. Whalers shorthanded for another 20 seconds. Mikhail Anderson in the box. And the Blues have scored twice with a man advantage. Running down on time on this opportunity. Jeff Brown tees it up. Gives the puck to Bozal. Philippe Bozal at the side. Shanahan steps in front, couldn't get it on the goal. Brown across Norwood, shoots, he scores! Just as the penalty ends, St. Louis is back in front.
I don't believe this will be a power play goal, but in all essence, it is a power play goal as the penalized player, Anderson, had just got to the ice. This will be an even strength goal. Lee Norwood, right here, right from the circle area, one-times it by Whitmore. That's his 4th goal of the year. Whitmore really didn't have time to recovers here, but he had a tough time locating the puck, and when he moved over, that skipped by him. This might have went off Craven or someone, but they won't get credit for a power play goal, but really it was a man advantage goal.
And they give the goal to Paul Cavallini from Brown and Shanahan. And we get a whistle. 2:45 to go here in the second period. Our score is 3-2 St. Louis.
There you see Dave Lowry. He took a penalty, a tripping, I believe, just after the goal that put the Blues ahead. So the Whalers will have a chance to tie this thing up. Well, the Whaler penalty killing tonight is really, it's helter-skelter. It's all over the place. They've just lost their bearings so many times. I'm counting that as a power play goal.
Yeah, since Anderson didn't have time to join the play. Here's Cullen moving in. Whalers in the power play for their 7th chance of the game. Cunneyworth has Shaw in front. Didn't see him. Curled it across to Cullen. 2.5 to go here in the second. Whalers down 3-2. Zalapski gives it to Cunneyworth. Shaw winds, fires through a crowd. It's blocked, and Wilson lifts it down the ice.
I think Lee Norwood has a head start on our player of the game tonight. Certainly defensively. He got that goal. They announced it to Cavallini. I didn't see him on the ice.
Zalapski drives it in. Cunneyworth back out to the point. Rich Sutter stole it. Whalers regain it. 1:13 to go in the penalty. Cullen to Cunneyworth. Shaw across to Zarley Zalapski. Cunneyworth with Cullen and Verbeek in front. Shaw fakes the shot, deals it to Zalapsky. He'll let it go. Hebert with a save. He'll hang on with Verbeek right out in front. And 57 seconds remain on the tripping call to Lowry. 1:42 remaining in the period.
That's really the, not that it was a great scoring chance. It was really a play that might have been in their playbook to get a shot on net. A very aggressive St. Louis Blues penalty killing unit has got the job done this evening. They're just rushing everything. I like the way I like that way to kill penalties.
Well, the Blues have been aggressive, as we mentioned right from the start tonight, with Brett Hull still out with back spasms. In fact, he has just begun to practice, and his conditioning is a ways off from being at game level. The Blues have tried to step it up as a team and have been more aggressive right from the outset here tonight. They weren't rewarded initially. They trailed 1-0. They do have the lead, helped by outstanding special teams play. 2 power play goals, virtually a third, and then great penalty killing. Here's Verbeek cutting in against Brown. Deals it back around for Zalapsky. Verbeek in front, over to Cullen, and Brown read the play, gives it to the veteran Wilson. Out he comes with 30 seconds on the penalty. Bergevin stripped him of the puck. Cullen left it back for Anderson. He was not near the pass, and Wilson plays it to his defense. Those viewers who had watched the Devils and the Bruins earlier will want to stay with us between periods, in particular because Brendan Shanahan will be our guest. We spoke with him before the game. We'll present that interview between the second and third periods tonight. We've got under a minute to go in the period, and the penalty has expired to Lowry. Blues have killed 7 in a row tonight. Here's Cullen to Holik, shooting, and he just sends it wide. It's chipped away by Quintal. Bergevin sends it off Anderson. Janney corrals it with 32 seconds to go in the period. Mikhail Anderson steps ahead. He's got Cullen with him. Batted down the ice by Quintal. Janney gets to it. Looks to see who he's got it. Shanahan shooting. He scores!
Really an inexcusable goal for the St. Louis Blues. All of a sudden, with 20 seconds left in a period, it's a 2-on-1 and probably a 3-on-1, as there is a third St. Louis Blues behind this man Shanahan. But a beautiful pass by Craig Janney after the 2-on-1 developed. Look at this, always heads up, takes a look before he retrieves the puck. Right on the tape. No chance for Whitmore. That's 3 of their 4 goals have been one-timers, where the poor goaltender has had no chance. But that was just out-and-out carelessness by the Hartford Whalers. I mean, you know, actually you're in a good spot. 3-2, 20 seconds left in the second period. Probably, haven't played as good as you really wanted to play, and all of a sudden you give them one. That's all you did, was just give them a goal.
Shanahan matches his career high with his 30th goal. He scored 32 years ago. He had 29 last year. Here's Christian cutting in, trying to get another one before the horn to end the second period. It doesn't work out for the Blues just there. And there's the horn ending the second period. And what a period for St. Louis. They score 3 times to the Whalers 1. So Frank Pietrangelo, tonight's Whaler backup goaltender, has the view of the action behind Guy Hebert for this third period. There's Frank.
Should ISO his position here with the shots that miss the net and hit the glass at 100 miles an hour, see if he ducks or not.
Well, he had his gloves on.
Yeah. Well, I think all backup goaltenders keep their gloves on nowadays.
You never know when you're going to get called into action. As we begin play here in the third, Norwood. The pass, it's tipped down the ice by Shanahan. Shaw gets to it. Trying to give that goal to Norwood. It is Paul Cavallini with his 10th goal. I'm sure Lee would have taken it, but his partner Cavallini will track down the puck. Around for Shanahan. Ladouceur has time to turn with it. Move it around to Craven. Black to Corriveau. With a burst of speed around Cavallini's hauled down. No penalty call as we get a pileup, including the goaltender Hebert, and the net dislodged.
It's hard to imagine there wouldn't be a call there with the calls that were happening tonight. I'll tell you, Ivan Korobov, boys, he's playing with confidence. Once again, utilizing his speed to get position. There's a hook. Well, you know, Cavallini disguised that pretty good. He got the stick out of there very quickly as Korobov was sliding into the net.
Whalers have caught the Blues defenseman flat-footed a couple of times tonight. Craven certainly on the goal he scored, stepping around Quintal.
You know, watching Quintal as he played for the Bruins, it certainly was one of the flaws in his play, his inability to turn. And I'm sure the Bruins recognize that. And that's maybe one of the reasons they let him go. I thought they gave up a lot for Adam Oates, but
Jeff Brown has the puck. He had the first goal by the Blues in the first period. Kelly Chase had it swatted away, but right to Brown. Emerson is dumped by Bergevin. Steve Conroy slaps it in, and it came off the boards behind Hebert and right out in front. Fortunately for him, no Whalers were on the scene. Day lets the pass go. Whalers are in a line change. Holik and Anderson join Sanderson. Emerson roars in, shoots, and Whitmore reached back with a stick to make the stop. Emerson gets it in front. It's deflected through the goal mouth by Anderson. Whalers move it out over the blue line.
Emerson's a nifty little player. He's got good speed, not afraid to make a move.
Has a couple of points tonight. And 57 on the season. Here's a 3-on-1 for St. Louis. As Bozon dropping it to Kimball, shooting, and Huda reached back to block it. Wilson winds it on goal. He scores! He slipped it through between Whitmore and the post, and the Blues lead 5-2.
Well, it looked like the Whalers escaped a bullet as the Blues botched up a 3-on-1 situation, but they stayed with it. And Wilson, with his second goal of the game, he just directs his puck towards the net. Whalers very fortunate that the puck ended up in Darren Kimball's stick. A good play by Huda. Watch this, just an innocent pass that's, I guess, redirected by Doug Huda through the legs of Whitmore. And a 5-2 lead. But really, what happened here was, we'll see the, well, I don't know if it touched Huda or not. And as I looked up and saw the 3-on-1 developing, I looked to see what was on the ice when it ended up on Darren Kimball's stick, who has yet to score this year. That seemed to be a break for the Whalers.
Puck carries the length of the ice. Ladouceur catches up to it, and we get the whistle of the icing call. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel. Let's check the Alka-Seltzer plus-minus leaders for the Hartford Whalers. Mikhail Anderson well in front with what I believe is a season high +22. Holika +9. Sanderson at a +6. That line has been in the lead most of the season in the plus-minus category. They've been very consistent all year long. A couple of youngsters in Sanderson and Holik, and Mikhail Anderson enjoying a career best season. Pat Verbeek drops it back. Ladouceur winds, fires, kicked out by Hebert. Cunnyworth on the backhand, and Hebert turned that aside. Cullen fights off a check from Brett Hedigan. Made his NHL debut in the last Blues outing in Toronto on Monday. Rich Sutter turns with the puck and brings it out. We've played nearly 3 minutes here in the third. St. Louis has already added to its lead. The Blues are in front 5-2. On the goal by Wilson, assisted by Bozon and Kimball. The Blues with several players with 2 points tonight. Wilson 2 goals, Bozon 2 assists. Brown and Shanahan 1 of each. Emerson 2 assists. Janney a couple of assists. They need that community effort with Mr. Hull on the sidelines, and they're getting it tonight. Black digs the puck loose with the help of Conroy. Slides it up the boards and out.
This is good medicine for the Blues, winning without Hall and 2 pretty good defensemen in Butcher and Zombo, their #1 goaltender, out. And really the bottom line has just been hard work. They've worked as hard as they possibly can this evening.
Blues up by 3 here in the third.
Am I correct in saying that the Shockers are the #1 team in college baseball? Wichita's today? Is that the name?
Yep, that's the nickname, the Shockers. Kind of a shocking situation, I would say. They're not one of those perennial powerhouses.
But they're #1.
Paul Cavallini chips the puck to the corner. Back for it, it's Conroy. Brendan Shanahan. Checked by Huda. Black takes over. Feeds it to Conroy. And it's just sent off Corriveau's stick. Hebert out to play it aside. Corriveau met on the shoulder, hit by Cavallini, who has the puck. Lost it to Corriveau. Firing on goal. Kicked aside by Hebert.
One thing I'll say about Hebert, he's cool. He's got good poise.
Well, Jerry, you like those goalies who've had a little background in the minors. And he's had a couple of years, 2.5 really, including this season in Peoria. And he's 25 years old. And he has certainly stepped to the front. Brian Sutter likes what he's seen. He's played 4 in a row now. Here's Gillis. Dropping it to McKenzie, shooting a save by Hebert. Quintal gets rid of it for Ron Sutter. Hebert had to rank as the 4th goaltender in the depth chart when the season began in the St. Louis organization.
Yeah, Riando, well, Joseph Riando, who was a member of the Blues at the start of the season, which to me was a strange trade as he went to Detroit for Rick Zombo. Pat Jablonski, who evidently didn't do the job, or this young man wouldn't be in goal. But there's not too many goaltenders out of Hamilton, is it Hamilton College, playing in the NHL. It's not a stamping grounds for NHL goaltenders. This young man stays up well, and he gets himself into trouble like on the Corvo goal. Even though Corvo had good speed, he did go down a little early, and something he'll learn. But yeah, getting back to the original topic, doesn't hurt you a few years in the minors.
Conroy gets a pass from Joe Day, cuts in, trying to get it to Gillis, poking it off a couple of St. Louis defensemen's legs. Couldn't get it on the net. Emerson, the weak clearing pass, broke it up by Day. Gillis and Emerson tie up. They've had a pretty good go all night long, and they're not ready to disengage yet as Brown carries the puck up ice. Across for Emerson. Turning the corner to Ron Sutter. He was tied up by Conroy. Day can't step away from Kelly Chase. Both teams change up. Bergevin trying to roll it to his partner Ladouceur. Comes right back to Bergevin. He steps away from Bozan. Trying to hand it to Holik. Instead it ends up with the stick of Kimball, leading it out for Philippe Bozan. Holik to Ladouceur. Quintal gets it to Kimball, taken away by Mikhail Anderson. Anderson steps in, lobs it across to Bobby Holik. Hedigan sends it off the glass, not out. Shaw saves the play for Sanderson, in front to Anderson, shooting, and it's stopped by Hebert. Holik battles for it, but Wilson outfoxes the young Whaler winger to come up with it. What a night he's had, Ron Wilson. That puck knocked down. Kimball cuts in on Whitmore. He scores!
Well, if you think this guy's happy, you're right. That is Darren Kimball's first goal of the year. This is his 44th game, and he's a happy dude. You know, usually at this time of the year, when you get your first goal, you try not to take credit for it, because it's going to make all the papers that you scored your first goal in the 76th game of the year. But Kimball will get a favorable bounce here, and the puck's rolling, so obviously he makes a good play. He goes to his backhand. Is Whitmore committed a little too early? And once again, looking at it from the goaltender's point of view, I'll tell you, this doesn't get to do that often, that celebrated Kimball pump. But when that puck's rolling, I always thought as a goaltender, you would have to rush the guy. I mean, that's and you said that the K just went down a little too early.
Bozan and Wilson, his line mates, pick up the assist. What a night this line is having. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel.
Another look at the Kimball goal. There's the good bounce. See that puck? It's on edge the whole way. And I mean, Kimball even had a problem settling the puck down.
Now that scoring play, Kimball from Bozan and Wilson at 6:32. Wilson has 2 and 1. Bozan 0 and 3, and Kimball 1 and 1. Hull may have to hurry back into the lineup here. Cullen comes up with a puck as Sutter was yanked down. We'll have a penalty upcoming.
What happened here, Rick? Right for the neutral ice area into the St. Louis zone and around the net. Cunnyworth and Sutter were going at it. Sutter come back as he was dumped in the Whaler end. Sutter come back and drilled Cunnyworth. And here's right here. Here's the wow. That's a pretty major league slash. But this started in the Whaler end and all through the neutral ice area as really Sutter was all over Cunnyworth. Now the way things are going tonight, you can probably expect a power play goal here from the Blues, but they've got basically a complete effort. You know, I look at this Whaler team, they've made such great strides in the last month, say, you know, with I like their spirit. I've liked the way they've played. There's a lot of positives I like, but tonight they've taken giant steps backwards. I mean, it's close to playoff time. This game really shouldn't have happened with the 10 days to play after the end of the season. This is they're going to have to really work their tail off to get back to where they were, because this is a real kick in the butt.
Cunnyworth for hooking at 7:22 of the third. 5th power play chance for the Blues. They scored on 2 of their first 3. And with a puck, it's Brown. He steps in. High steps by Ladouceur. Lost the puck to Craven. 6-2 St. Louis. The score was tied at 2 as recently as 14:29 of the second period. The Blues have exploded. Here's Shanahan shooting. He scores!
Come down the right side. Boy, there's a lot of guys in the St. Louis teams with twos beside their name. This is second goal for Shanahan. Let's watch as he comes down the right side. Emerson with a nifty little pass, and he'll catch Whitmore between the legs. Boy, this is not a great angle as far as Shanahan's concerned.
Numbers 30 and 31 tonight. This one at the 8-minute mark.
Now, he's been a good player for the St. Louis Blues as he came over as a free agent. And I don't want to knock Shanahan because he's a solid player, but they lost a great player in the compensation in Scott Stevens.
They certainly did.
What an awful time to bring that up. He's got a couple assists, or at least one assist, Shanahan.
Emerson and Hebert, the goaltender. Assist on the goal. The Blues are looking for more. Ron Sutter wants a piece of the action. The score is now 7-2 St. Louis with 11:35 to go in the game. Corriveau curls it ahead to Black. 3 Blues are back. Corriveau heads for the corner along with Kelly Chase. It's poked out in front. Zalapski just joins the play, deals it to the circle, and Chase is there to take it away. He sees his buddy Kimball on the board with a goal and an assist. He wants a piece of the action. Bozal with a riser off the shoulder of Kay Whitmore. Black's pass reaches Craven. He'll just try to get it on the goal.
I'll tell you, who's having fun out there is Philippe Bozal, right off of the Team France.
Yeah, 3-assist night. He and Hebert celebrating their first points in the NHL. Hedigan goes down hard in the corner, and he lost his edge. He was hit by Zalapski, shaken up. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel.
The youngster Brett Hadigan, who seems to have pretty good speed, will sprint down the right side. This wasn't a trip at all. He'll just right here, when he goes to put on the brakes, he falls in. You know, they went off like he cuts his head. I think his helmet might have jammed against his forehead. Yeah, it seems to be a cut involved. But welcome to the biggie, to the bigs. I think he'll be all right, hopefully. Does have good speed, though, this young guy, Brett Hedigan.
Played well for the U.S. Olympic team in Albertville. They've got 3 members of Olympic teams on their squad in the lineup tonight. Bozan for France, Giles for Canada, Hedigan for the U.S. McKenzie ahead for Joe Day. Lets it go. A save by Hebert. McKenzie allowing Day to handle it. Looks for Gillis in front. Wilson chopping at him from behind. The Blues force the Whalers out to neutral ice. We're midway through the 3rd period with St. Louis jumping in front with a 5-goal explosion in the span of a little more than 13 minutes of play here tonight.
This isn't really a lineup you would think could do that, certainly without Brett Hull.
Sanderson overskates the puck, as did Brown. Holik wrists it toward the net, taken by Brown. And we were tied at 2 with 5.5 to go in the second. And in those 5.5 minutes in the first 8 of the 3rd, the Blues have scored 5 times. Away comes Ladouceur, surrounded by Blues. Play handled by Shanahan. Holik has Anderson trapped in the zone offside, dumps it in. It's sent around to Christian. Janney chops at it. Paul Cavallini steps ahead. Sends it to the corner. Shaw in after it. Drives it around by Holik down the ice. And this will result in a whistle for icing against the Whalers. Norwood's back. Under 9 minutes to go in the game. Blues well in front.
Frank Pietrangelo enjoying the scenery here. I think he's very happy he's down in that end in this type of a game.
Be afraid to look if that was happening at the end at which he is sitting. Bergevin plays it across to Conroy. Now Cullen is going at it with Bassett, who's throwing some right hands, and Cullen throwing a couple of rights of his own. Well, they both connect with a few.
I'll tell you, John Cullen's a pretty tough guy. Probably a lot of people don't know it. I know Bassett doesn't. But he's a feisty little guy, and he really hasn't played that way much of the year. He really wants to stay on the ice as much as possible, as he's the Whalers' leading scorer. But this is bound to happen. This started right in the first period as Sutter is elected to have Bassett on John Cullen for this game.
They'll go off at 11:16.
You know, it's funny, when John Cullen broke into the league, one of the things I remember about him was his feistiness and getting in a few scraps such as this. He does all right.
Five minutes each for fighting.
Let's go back and see how this starts. There's the hit by Cullen on Bassett, and the sticks just get up a little bit, but this was bound to happen. This would be like the oh, there's a good hit by Cullen. Bassett will come on at the end, but this is like the what would you call this? Might be the featherweight division. If Kimball and McKenzie would be the heavyweight, these guys would be maybe lightweight, not featherweight. That's a little too small. That would be Theo Fleury and who else?
Well,
let's give it to our pal Pee Wee Ferraro.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe hearing from Ray on that one.
No. We were just kidding.
How about
Ray?
Cliff Ronning?
Okay, there's a good one.
Corvo allows Black to handle it. He fired it into the chest of Giles. Ahead for Chase. That's the shot go, and it's played by Whitmore. Covers it up. They get that stoppage in play.
Not to get out the subject, but I'm trying to think of Ferraro, who was such a good player for the Whalers and having a great year for the Islanders. There was a guy from out west who played. He always had a conflict with, not necessarily a little guy, but he used to. I think you're going to come up with this.
Yeah, Rob Brown.
Rob Brown, that's it. Yeah, in Pittsburgh. Yeah, another ex-Whaler.
And we'll see him on Saturday with the Blackhawks.
That's right too.
Yeah, they had some pretty good tussles. As the Hawks win tonight in Quebec City in overtime, they had a 3-0 lead in that game.
Trailed 4-3.
Emerson puts it toward the net, played aside by Whitmore for Zalapsky. Brown pokes at it. Zalapsky takes it. Angles it by Craven, sticking out.
You know, tonight's game, it's really difficult to pick a star from St. Louis. They've had so much contribution from all areas. I mean, just about everyone.
Yeah.
Even a guy like Kimball deserves some recognition.
Ryan Sutter couldn't have asked for a better effort than he's received tonight. This is a Brian Sutter kind of game, kind of effort. Emerson drives it on goal. It's gloved by Whitmore for Huda. Huda ahead for Jim McKenzie. Has room to turn, and he sends it just by the stick of Joe Day. He's checked in there by Norwood. Day moves it along. He's dropped his stick in that tussle with Norwood. Wilson takes over. Ron Wilson going for the hat trick here tonight. Steps around Shaw. Whitmore played it aside. Got it in front. Ladouceur picked it off. Day chips it, bounces it into Hebert's pads. He hands it to Giles. Outlet bounced off Shaw, comes right back to Norwood. McKenzie gave it up to Giles. Well, Kurt Giles with a pass that was tipped into the corner. 6:45 remaining in the game. Blues well in front, 7-2. They'll jump 2 games over 500 with a win here tonight. The Whalers will fall to 15 under. And it is a disappointing effort, certainly for the Whalers, coming off that 8-2 thrashing of the Capitals on Tuesday night. So they're on one end of a thrashing on the front end of this road trip, and they're on the wrong end of one here tonight in St. Louis.
You know, unfortunately in this game, you can't say, well, that's not bad, 50%, 1 win and 1 loss out of 2 games in the road. But this thrashing tonight just takes the luster off the victory the other night. I mean, you can't feel that way. You got to address tonight's game. Forget about the other night's game. Address this game.
Anderson grabbed by Quintal. Hebert out to handle it. Yeah, you get home and all you're thinking about really is the last game. The pounding you've taken at the hands of St. Louis.
And an underman team. This is a lineup you should compete with.
Black had it kicked off his stick in a sliding play by Shanahan. Black maneuvers ahead, gives it up to Cavallini. Zalapsky hurries back. Under 5.5 to go. Doug Huda neatly steps away from Rich Sutter. Fires the pass to Cunningworth. 2-liner whistle down by Jay Scherers. St. Louis leading by 5 here in the third.
Well, we got screen from a beautiful young lady from St. Louis.
Thoroughly enjoying the action here tonight. Huda with a pass to Verbeek. Surrounded by Blues. Down he goes. Norwood feeds it by Emerson. Now we got a tussle. It's Cunningworth throwing punches with Rich Sutter, and this was a culmination of a long, hard evening between these two. And Randy Cunningworth gets off to a good start with a couple of short right hands.
Well, there's 5:04 left in the game. Yeah, this was going to happen too. The Cullen tussle and the Cunningworth tussle they were going to happen.
This is the third battle of the evening as Ladouceur and Shanahan went at it back in the second period. Bassett and Cullen here in the third. 14:56 the time of these.
It's funny how things go, right? And you know, I respect the St. Louis team. I think they got great grinders and guys like Lowry and and Ron Wilson and Bobby Basson for sure. I like Philippe Bozon there like that. And to repeat myself from what I said in the first period, that first period in Chicago in their opening round of the playoffs is going to be a doozer.
Better get a good size score sheet if you're going to keep track of all the statistics of that game. 5 minutes each for fighting. At 14:56 to Rich Sutter and Randy Cunneyworth. Under 5 minutes to go as Shaw takes a look up ice. Gives it to Ladouceur.
What the Whalers haven't done in this period, trailing 4-2, they come out with a little fire in their eyes. But they have failed to shoot it in. I mean, everyone's trying to go through 4 guys stacked up at the blue line. It's impossible.
Ladouceur's pass is tipped behind the net. Norwood goes to get it. Around for Bozon. He's not going to forget this night anytime soon. 3 assists. He steps in against Shaw. Bozon trying to curl it toward the net. Ladouceur took it away. Paul Gillis has room to maneuver out. Hebert reaches out for it. Whalers on a line change. The Sanderson line is on, and Conroy steps into one. A stick save by Hebert. Giles in some difficulty with Sanderson. Anderson picks it up. Sanderson looking to center. Joe Day is on this line. They look for Day. Saved by Hebert. Joe searching for that first goal in the NHL. And that puck is fired out of play behind the benches. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the NHL on Sports Channel. Whalers with Sanderson between Holik and Anderson on this draw. You see under 4 minutes to go. Sanderson works it on goal. Hebert steered it away. Anderson out to Bergevin. Wrist shot. Glove by Guy Hebert right under the nose of Jeff Sanderson. He gets a whistle.
Guy Hebert, a lot of help from his defense. They're doing a great job in front of the net, allowing the young goaltender to find the puck so easily.
This is a fella who picked up a big win back in Boston a week ago tonight. 4-1. The team traveled to Montreal. He held the Canadiens down, then a 3-3 tie. Lost 3-2, but played well in Toronto on Monday, and this is his 4th straight appearance.
I saw Joseph. He was practicing this morning. He must be getting ready to come back.
He might be the first to come back of the 4 who are hurt. I don't think they have a timetable on Hull just yet because of conditioning and so forth, and recurring problems with the back spasms, but he has made progress in coming back from the injury. Brown, big windup, and it's sticked away by Whitmore. Conroy put it in the corner. Brown centers, and Whitmore tipped that away. Cavallini with a drive. That's deflected. Gloved away. A drive on goal by Ron Sutter, and it's stopped by Whitmore. He'll hang on with Emerson looking for a rebound.
This guy's had a good game. Nelson Emerson. Quick little guy.
He's a communications major out of Bowling Green. We could have used him at Kent State if he was a communications major.
Yeah, I mean, well, they got about 90% of the broadcasters in the business are graduates of Kent State.
I don't know about that, but
Steve Albert.
that's right. Paul Staggerwald in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But
a lot of guys. Yourself, obviously.
Could have helped the hockey program at Kent. He certainly helped the hockey program at BG.
Believe it or not, I used to stay in the dorms at Kent State.
That's you want to explain that one? You were
we trained there with the Cleveland Crusaders, and our base was the dorms at Kent State.
Not in your undergraduate days.
No. I went about 1.5 miles to school. That's as far as I got.
McKenzie on the move for the Whalers. Steps around a couple of Blues. Cuts in on goal. Hebert the save, and Cullen dragged that rebound just wide as he had to reach back for it. 2:40 to go in the game. Cullen in a collision with Basson once again. Basson wants round 2, and they're going to go for round 2. The linesmen get in there. Basson swings and misses with a couple of rights. And Verbeek piles on with a St. Louis player. That's Lowry. with 2:35 to go in this one, and we may not be done yet. And Lowry and Verbeek want to go at it. And Randy Lenasseur holds Lowry. Verbeek trying to get a swing in there. Greg Janney, of all people, is trying to corral Pat Verbeek. Lowry and Lenasseur hit the ice.
Boy, there's been some. They couldn't figure out who was going with who.
Well, Janney drops his gloves as if he's going to go with Verbeek. This would be a first.
I don't think this will happen. Dennis Morel is watching Verbeek and Janney. Sometimes you drop your gloves to get a better grip.
That must be it. And now Quintal comes over there. McKenzie trying to even that situation out. All heck breaking loose here with 2:35 to go in the hockey game. And Morel's finally able to guide Verbeek over to the box. Well, you have to kind of check the score sheets here on game misconducts. We'll see if any result from this. I imagine there would, but this time of the year they can be crucial calls.
Watch Collins tries to get Basson. Basson just stopped him, just spotted him at the last second, and they went up, and they really didn't need an invitation. Pat Verbeek, he's just going to get in there. He gets a half a step on Lowry. You know, in this type of game, Patty Verbeek's the type of guy he wants to do something. He's just frustrated. There's Rick Sutter talking to Ron Sutter. These are the twins. These Rick. Who's older? I think Ron is, isn't it? Or is it Rick? Well, one has got to be older, obviously.
Right. You got me there, though. I don't know the answer. So Morel is sorting this situation out, and the equipment is being sorted out as well. As the Blues in front 7-2 and 2:35 to go in the hockey game.
This will take some time. Basson will leave. I'm sure Cullen will also.
17-25 the time of all these penalties.
You know, it seemed right from the start of this evening's game with Denny Morel just handing out penalties left and right, and we talked about how referees sometimes confuse the players. Certainly the score is one of the reasons the Whalers are somewhat frustrated, but Morel sometimes he fools you a little bit.
Cullen's off, and Verbeek will follow him shortly.
You know, when I used to play goal, right, and I was never a silent one. When players who got in a beef with one of your teammates and all had to go by you after, you know, after a penalty or something, I just couldn't help it. You know, I had to say something, but I had to make sure that guys like John Winzik and Stan Jonathan were close by before I got real brave. The Storm have had a tough year. They're like 14-22.
5 minutes for fighting. Number 16, Pat Verbeek, 2 minutes for roughing, and a game misconduct. Third man into an altercation.
Well, you see Verbeek's going to get the third man in as he went in.
5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct.
When Cullen and Basson started going at it.
St. Louis, number 28, Bob Basson. 2 minutes for instigating an altercation. 5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct.
Not that it makes any difference. I doubt there'll be a power play.
Fighting and a game misconduct. Time of the penalties, 17-25.
Now, there were 2 minors in all of that, and they do cancel out. And as I mentioned, those game misconducts, though, you got to check the list. If you get 3 in the regular season, it causes a 1-game suspension.
Did Verbeek get a game misconduct?
Yes, he did.
So he's gone the next game, right? He's already set out one.
And then there's, but there's those stick-related penalties as well. So then, of course, you got to start over and start the tally in the playoffs. That becomes crucial. I would think maybe with that Chicago-St. Louis series you're talking about, it may become very crucial.
Don't you get, like, some card games, you get grace? You know, there would be no grace in that series, would there?
No. Blues trying to catch the Hawks. And jump into second, at least have the home ice advantage for that first round matchup. They're down 4 points to the Blackhawks, and they will just keep pace with them tonight. The Hawks won in Quebec in overtime. And the Blues well in front here with 2.5 to go, 7-2. Those teams will meet in St. Louis next weekend, their only remaining matchup. Brown shoots it in. As Whitmore out for it, Conroy gets there. McKenzie hands it to Huda. Sends it off the boards. Brown drives it off the glass and out of the zone. Huda flips it back to the corner. Gintal in after it. Goes off. And a poke check by Conroy to the blue line. Pass tipped, and Day off to the races. Gintal in pursuit. Day cuts in, doesn't get a shot away. Wilson hooked by Black. Kimball cuts in. Bouncing puck eluded him. Whitmore fires it away. Bergevin tips it ahead. Craven keeps Janney away from the puck. Out ahead for Corriveau. Now to Craven. He overskates it. Black is offside. So's Corriveau with 1:17 to go in the game.
There's no question. Forget all the fights and all that. There's no question who deserved to win this hockey game tonight. It's this man's team right here. They were down by a goal, kept working, did a great job in killing penalties. I'll tell you that inspires you more than anything, or propels you to, you know, a successful evening in the penalty killing department.
Well, they kept their poise and kept working tonight, even though despite good work in that area in the first period, they trailed 1-0.
I'm sure they went in and said, listen, we're doing the right thing. Let's just stay with it.
Under a minute to go in the game. It's flipped down the ice by Cavallini. Bergevin gives it to Zarley-Zalapski ahead for Craven. Gillis collides with Gintal. Kelly Chase had it taken away by Craven. Chase worked it away and out to center. Gintal can't get it by McKenzie. Cuts in. Emerson on the steal. Gillis and Emerson get the sticks going. Morrell looks on as play moves up ice. Chase and Huda are going to go. Kelly Chase out of Porcupine Plain, Saskatchewan. And Doug Huda set to throw some punches, and down they go with 19 seconds to go.
I think this tussle was a result of Chase trying to take advantage of Zalapski early in the game. Huda was just a little late getting there. But the leading penalty guy for the Blues, Kelly Chase, will add some more to his total. Dougie Huda just having a glimpse at his hand. You know what you do when you get in a fight, no matter what the outcome is, you always, when you go off the ice, always have a look at your hand. This was behind the play.
Huda gets the extra 2 for instigating.
Here's how it started. Hey, the St. Louis Blues have had a tough time tonight with their sweaters. They've seemed to come unbuckled. There's a buckle right below the pad. Well, 19 seconds left.
5 to Chase, 7 to Huda.
I don't think St. Louis has enough time to score another power play goal. They've got 3 power play goals without Brett Hull in the lineup. I feel if St. Louis beats Chicago, it will be because of their power play, with a healthy Hull, obviously.
Well, they've got Brown at a point, obviously a very effective point man. Emerson is a very good power play guy. Janney, of course, dealing from the sideboards.
You know, we got Dave Christian is a good playoff player.
Yep. The Whalers can attest to. 6th power play for the Blues. This one hardly matters. They have scored 3 with a man advantage tonight. So the Whalers and their fans have seen a complete reversal of efforts and results tonight in many areas. And tonight, after beating Washington 8-2 Tuesday, the Hartford Whalers suffer a 7-2 loss at the hands of the St. Louis Blues. And we'll recap the action for you in just a moment.